video that you are about to view contains material created by the Writing and Reading Center at Fresno City College. We base the information used on fact and research to the best of our knowledge. As the viewer of this video, you should always follow the directions given to you by your instructor. The materials covered in these videos should be viewed as supplemental only.
And I'm Sarah.
Welcome to the Tutors.
Today we'll be talking about APA formatting.
APA stands for American Psychological Association, and it's a style of writing mostly used in social sciences such as psychology, criminology, sociology, and more.
That means you will use it in many of your classes. APA is a bit more technical than other styles such as MLA, but if you focus on the basics and take it step by step, it'll be easier to work with than you think.
APA is used in social sciences as a way of helping writers, like yourself, to stay away from plagiarism by giving credit to outside sources. It also allows the readers of your essay to make connections to sources you use in your essay. Ultimately, this helps to continue the world of academics.
That's true. APA is quite technical, so let's list the very basics. There is the APA cover page, running head, page number, possible abstract, in-text citations for direct quotations, in-text citations for paraphrases, and last but not least, the references page.
That's a lot of information. Let's start with the APA cover page. Depending on your instructor, the information on this page may vary. However, here's a sample format that includes the essay title, your name, the course name, your professor's name, and the date.
Next, it's important to focus on the running head. On the first page, and on the first page only, the words running head must be placed in the header box in the left-hand corner. After those words, you must place a colon and the title of your essay in all caps. The page number must be inserted using Microsoft Word in the upper right-hand corner. Here's an example. Notice the words running head. Also, notice the title is in all caps. If your title is too long, it's okay to shorten it a bit. On all subsequent pages, the same information must be present, minus the words running head. Here is an example. Notice that the title is still in all caps. If you use the shortened version on the first page, do so for the rest of the essay.
The abstract is next. It's important to note that not every instructor will ask you to write an abstract, but if they do, you'll need to know what it is, right?
The abstract should be on the second page of your essay, and the title abstract should be centered on the top of page 2, not bolded. Here is an example. Notice the word abstract is not bolded. This is a must.
Next, APA uses in-text citations for every quote or paraphrase used in your essay. However, unlike MLA, different information is required.
Let's begin with a direct quote. Anytime you use exact words from an outside source, you need to use quotation marks so the readers know the words do not belong to you. But it is important to mention that APA prefers the use of paraphrases over quotations.
The next step is to use an in-text citation. You will need the last name of the author or authors as well as the year and the page number.
For example, open parentheses Smith, comma, 2007, comma, P, period, 789, close parentheses, period. It looks like this. If there are two authors, you need to use the ampersand sign. Yes, that's the funny sign used in place of the word and.
If the quote comes from more than one page, you need to use a PP period. Here is an example using more than one author and page number. In this example, you see that the quote must have come from both the page numbers, 789 and 790. Therefore, we must use PP period in the in-text citation.
For a source with 3 to 5 authors, you must list all the authors the first time, and then you can use et al. In subsequent citations. Here's an example. Notice that the first time you list all the authors' last names in the order they are listed on the original source. See that the commas are used to list the names neatly. Again, the ampersand sign is used for the word and in the in-text citation.
If there are more than 5 authors, you can use et al. For the first in-text citation. In case you were wondering, et al. Means and others in Latin. Oh, and there is no period placed after the et, only after the al.
Don't forget that sometimes you might decide to use the author's name or names in your sentence. If you do, then you do not need to repeat it in the in-text citation.
However, you do need to list the year of the source in parentheses directly after the author's last name. For example, according to Smith, 2012, physicians seek to meet the needs of their patients, page 877. Oh, and that reminds me, the ampersand is only used to represent the word and within parentheses. So, if you are saying according to Smith and Perez in your sentence, you need to use the actual word and, not the ampersand.
This works for both quotes and paraphrases. The only difference is that you do not need a page number for paraphrases unless otherwise directed by your professor.
An example of a paraphrase with the author's name in the sentence would look like this. See? No page number is necessary, because this is a paraphrased version of the information taken from the source. If it was a quote, then only the P-period page number would be placed inside the parentheses.
Now, let's talk about regular in-text citations for paraphrases. These are a bit easier because you only need the author or author's last name and the year in parentheses. For example, Morris, 2011.
Another piece of APA info you should know is the block quote.
Block quotes are indented 10 spaces in for each line, and they do not need any quotation marks. For a block quote, the period is actually before the in-text citation. It looks like this. Notice that the period is placed before the parenthetical in-text citation. This is the only time the period will be placed before the in-text citation. Because we've used the name in the sentence, we do not repeat it in the parentheses. Oh, and always check with your professor before using this type of lengthy quote.
But wait, not every source has an author. In fact, many internet articles don't. In those cases, you must use the title of the article inside of quotation marks inside of parentheses. It looks like this. Notice the quotation marks? Also, if the title is very long, you can shorten it, but make sure your reader will still be able to match the citation with the source on your reference page.
Remember that you would only use the page number for a direct quote. If it's a paraphrase, you don't need it.
Also, notice the period is placed on the outside of the parentheses.
Now, for the very last page of any APA essay, you must list your references.
This page is titled References, which is centered at the top of the last page and not bolded. Here, you list all of the outside sources you used in your paper.
Only list the sources you used for quotes or paraphrases. If you used an in-text citation, then that source should be listed on your references page.
Oh, and your sources should be listed in alphabetical order by last name or title if there is no author.
Take a look at this link after the video for helping citing different types of sources, such as books, websites, journal articles, and more on your references page.
And here's an example of a references page. Notice the authors' names are listed in alphabetical order.
You may also notice the hanging indent used on the reference page. You can do this by using the paragraph indenting on Microsoft Word, or go to a campus computer lab for help.
Wow, that's a lot of information regarding APA.
And to be honest, this is only an introduction. Always listen to your professor's directions, as they may want you to use a slightly different variation of APA.
That's very true. And just a reminder, good students use reference books that can be found in the Writing and Reading Center or internet sites that we provide below, or your school library. We encourage you to do this too.
Let's recap. APA uses a cover page, running head, page number, possible abstract, in-text citations for direct quotes, in-text citations for paraphrases, and last but not least, the references page.
Yep, that's right. Although it may seem difficult at first, you now have a strong start with APA. Like anything, practice helps.
If you need any help with additional terminology regarding English, reading, or writing, check out our other videos.
Don't forget, you can also come to the FCC Writing and Reading Center. Our hours and locations are also listed below.
And if you're up to it, take our self-assessment based on this video. The link is posted below.
Good luck with your assignment. Bye.
Bye.